Hey everybody, welcome to the SketchCraft morning. I put a little Jack whiskey, little Jameson in my coffee podcast. You know why? Because it's Saturday and I can do that. Also joining me, Brandon Mega Potato James.
Hello everybody.
I timed
Good morning.
I timed that perfectly. I'm proud of myself.
I have something way more stronger than your coffee. I got myself a nice yellow Red Bull here, radioactiveness going down into my body.
So when I was in the Army, I had to do physical therapy for my back for about a year, and they give you this radioactive serum so that they can take.
Shit.
Oh yeah, they go, it's radioactive, and we got to put it in you, and it'll be easier to see your bones when we do this MRI.
Because you'll glow in the dark.
So I told them, like the Hulk. This is
Right.
1999. They were, not a lot of people knew the Hulk or remembered the show. And the guy looked at me, and he just could not stop laughing. And then he brings it out, and it looked like that, this fluorescent yellow,
Right.
almost like, you ever see the Swamp Thing movie? Here we had that glowing, glowing. I was like, oh no, it's gonna be like Swamp Thing. It was a really painful shot. Super thick needle too. It's like spaghetti noodle thick, Did not feel good. Speaking of not feeling good, Mega Potato James over here you had a very interesting night last night, I hear.
Oh no. It wasn't just the night, since we didn't get to talk. That day, the morning of, started off, I had a doctor's appointment, or so I thought. So when I went to the doctor the week before, they said, your doctor's only going to be, this was at 3 o'clock, your doctor can only be morning appointments. I said, okay, let's make it for Friday. The lady goes, okay, 9:15. I said, awesome, I'll be there. So I go in there at 9:15 to nothing but blank faces this morning, just staring at me. They're like, why are you here? I'm like, Brandon James, 9:15, see Dr. So-and-so. And they're like, nope. I go, yep. Like, two of the females, only the one who was supposed to put me in the computer did not, and she wasn't there that day. So, of course, she's not there to back up my story. And the other one there was like, oh, yeah, we did tell you to come in the morning. Lucy didn't, the lady didn't put it in. I'm like, obviously not, but I'm not looking at the computer. So I took off. Yeah.
Hold
I just
on.
show up there for fun.
Hold on. Hold on. That's oh, I guess you're not in the computer, right? Like how are you supposed to know who's in the computer?
Like, how do I know? There's a glass window. What am I supposed to reach over and look? Like, I just don't know. I'm just like, do you see scrubs on my body? Like, I don't work here.
You do that, and then they tase you in the head and call the police.
Right.
And they're like, oh, this alt-right bearded dude is...
This giant German monster grizzly man is trying to jump through.
This Proud Boy looking motherfucker.
It would, that's the worst part right now too. That I'm just a giant bald white man. I just
yeah,
I need
you
a
fit.
wig.
You
I
fit
need a wig.
racist stereotype.
I need a wig.
And
I
don't mean like a racist as in like a racist derogatory statement, like as the racist.
Right.
Sucks.
I mean, luckily, I'm married to a Latina woman, so at least when she's by my side, they're like, "Oh, okay, he's good." And I love
I don't
tacos,
mean
so.
nothing, dude. A lot of those
So-
racists. That's how they get by. They go, "I'm married to a black. I cannot be racist." Like that counts.
Well, just so people listen, I'm not racist. Anyways,
That's what they all say, Brandon.
yeah. Last time you said that I would go on dates with men from the podcast. I had multiple men add me, which is fine. I appreciate the love. Thank you to all the men that find me adorable. I am very flattered. Anybody who finds me attractive, and I don't think I'm attractive, I appreciate it. But everything that Rob says on this cast, you guys hold to such a true standard.
But you do go on dates with guys. Like, think about it, Brandon.
Only you.
Well,
only
yeah.
you.
I mean, we're already planning on going to a taco shop next month. So I'm going to Brandon's house next month, October.
We're gonna feed each other tacos.
October. I got like Lady in the Tramp. We put a taco between our face, and we just like.
Maybe if we were friends. Maybe if we were friends, I would consider it. Maybe.
And I'm thinking too, I just realized that's the weekend the Joker movie comes out. So guess what we get to do all over again? The last time Brandon and I saw a movie together, it was with the debut of a new Joker. How coincidental is that, Brandon?
Right? That's weird.
Right?
That's weird.
So I know my wife doesn't want to see it, so you got to go see it with me.
Oh joy. So I'm not done with the doctor's office. So
All
then
right.
finally the lady goes, "Yeah, we'll get you in." I'm like, "There's nobody else in there. Okay, maybe one guy, other guy." I'm like, "You'll get me in?" She's like, "Yeah, just go ahead and have a seat." An hour goes by. Yeah, you can come on back now. An
An
hour.
hour.
An
Jesus.
hour. I'm already took the time off in the morning to miss work to go in late. Okay. And an hour goes by and I'm just like, really? I see the doctor for maybe 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes. She just has to update a prescription of mine. 2 minutes. Oh, and she can't update it on the computer, Rob, because their computer system of sending prescriptions for some reason is not working on the morning that I happen to go. So she has
Awesome.
to write me a hand prescription. Her handwriting is horrible, like most doctors. And she goes, if they have a problem reading this, just have them call me. I'm like, can I just printed this out? Just okay,
They have
thanks.
computers.
Yeah. So go to work, 114 out, just loving life in this nice heat. And then I get off work, and me and my wife decided to go to the gym because we're like,
Hmm.
okay, I need to rehab my leg, and she needs the cardio. And as we're leaving the gym, I'm like, man, our tire looks low. Maybe not. And then, of course, I get a flat tire on my way home. And I was like, yep, it was low. So,
Oh
sometime
no.
today, after all
I got a
this,
flat tire. Did
after
you
we have our chit
change it
chat here,
yourself?
of course, of course,
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not gonna sit there and wait. So I changed it. Come home. I'm drenched. I was already sweaty from the gym, but at this point, after it's still at 7, I don't know what time it was, 7 or 8 when I texted you. It's already still like 110 out. I live in the desert. I'm just drenched in sweat. I'm like, oh, I love life. So today,
Right.
sometime, I will have to go up to Discount Tire, and hopefully it's repairable, and I don't have to buy a whole new tire. But as my luck's going so far on this beautiful holiday weekend, I don't think it's going to be in my favor.
Well, I had a pretty horrible day too, Brandon. This whole week I've been trying to pre-order the TMNT Arcade One Up cabinet. Supposed to go on pre-order this week, and it's really I know it's much worse than what you've been going through,
It's
but
so much worse. Like, did you stub your toe too? Because that would be the ultimate. Just
if I do now, I hold you responsible.
oh yes,
So Arcade One Up said that the pre-orders for this thing were supposed to go up on Walmart in August. Well, it's the end of August, so they went apparently. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you the story as everyone will read it on the internet first,
okay,
okay?
okay,
And then I'm going to tell you what I really think, okay?
sounds good.
It's kind of like Clue. Remember the end of Clue? Here's how it really
Yes,
happened. So I'm going to give you the theatrical ending, and then we're going to do what I think really happened. The theatrical ending is that it went up for pre-order for literally 3 seconds, sold out. Then they upped the price $50 because it includes the riser, and so 349. So now it's 399, which is this riser lifts makes the table taller, right? Because they all,
yeah,
as we know, it's just us man babies who are putting these in our houses, right?
right,
And then the middle of the week this week, IGN has this IGN deals, and they have a Twitter, and they put out it's available for pre-order, and they immediately sold out again, and says out of stock. Now everyone's tweeting at Arcade One Up, and I know this because I have TweetDeck, and I just leave it to TMNT Arcade One Up, and then I misspell TMNT Arcade One Up a few different ways, so I have a few alternate threads. I just have a whole computer dedicated to this, and so they keep tweeting out to Arcade One Up, what's going on? They're jacking up the price. It sold out in 3 seconds. This is ridiculous. How come we don't know what's going on? And so everyone just thinks it's sold out. Here's what I think. I don't think they've sold one of these things. I don't think they've sold one. Not one. And let me tell you why. Not a single one of those things are on eBay.
Right.
See, Brad, because that's where I go first.
Oh
The
yeah.
minute something sells out, I go right to eBay, you know? Nothing. So what I think was they aren't going to go up for pre-order somewhere between now and October, whenever. And someone over there realized, oh, these are supposed to be 349 because we got to make some money, you know, over at
Yeah.
Walmart. And RK One Up hasn't commented not one time. And you know why? Because they probably got paid some extra bucks to be exclusive, and they can't say shit because Walmart is not someone you want to make enemies with when you're a retailer.
Right.
So, and everyone's like, "This is they've sold out. It's ridiculous." Nothing. I don't think not one of them has been sold yet. They're gonna go up at some point between now and October. You know, probably when I'm on the airplane flying to your place, right?
Right.
Whatever. But the thing is, Brandon, like I know there's a good chance within a year these 399 tables will be down to 249 or 190 something. But here's the thing: one, I don't want to wait 2 years. You know, I don't want to wait a year. I don't want to wait 2 years. So I'm a little impatient.
Right.
Two, for me, you know, I've saved up the money, so I don't mind taking the hit because
Hmm.
I'm not going to buy TMNT merchandise maybe ever again. Like the only TMNT merchandise I've purchased in the last 20 years are the 90s Nika figures in 2004, the box set, which I still have,
Hmm.
the 1990 set, which just came out last summer, and the Shredder, which just came out a couple months ago. That's it. They
That
haven't
shredder's
made,
beautiful.
yeah, they haven't made anything that I'm buying. So I'm just buying the things from my childhood. This is it. The arcade cabinet is the last thing.
So technically, I mean, you've waited like 30 years for this.
Right. So I figure fair trade. You know what I mean? Fair trade. You know, I get it. A lot of these people are probably they're looking at buying more arcade one-ups. You know, so they're like, this could get expensive. Not for Rob. The next time I buy anything like this, it's going to be in VR. You know, I'll have that arcade cabinet and my VR machine. I'm not gonna. They come out with an arcade one up X-Men cabinet. I'm not buying it. They come out with an arcade one up WWF SummerSlam or WrestleFest cabinet. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm done. I got the Star
Yeah.
Wars. I got the Turtles. That's all I want. You know, that's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. So, um, I don't mind paying a little extra. But yeah, yeah. So I've just been over here refreshing every. So I got the arcade one up, and then I got the Walmart page open. I just refresh both. Right when I wake up, right before I go to sleep, whenever I go to the bathroom, in between cooking, drawing,
Right.
whatever. Just one of these things is gonna show up. Me and like probably 100 other dudes,
Oh yeah.
you know, and that's about
More
it.
females.
100 dudes, 20 females,
Right.
5 others. So
It, you know, it definitely sounds like you are having a way worse time than me, and I'm
right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't more understanding.
I'm so glad you appreciate.
I'm sorry, Rob.
No, that's why I let you. That's why I tolerate you. You get it. You get
I understand the hierarchy in this relationship.
it. Uh huh. So I'm not gonna. I have some stuff, but I'm not gonna do it. So
Fair enough.
you know, just I'll just accept that. Put it right there. What else happened this week? So I plan on doing a couple things. So I've been trying to put together some art videos for the YouTube channel. I want to finish the last part of that cover I did for the
Hmm.
Galactic Hunters, whatever that was called. Put it all up, got it into Premiere, and then Premiere crashed before I could save it. So now I'm like, fuck, you know, like that's what we were gonna do tonight. We'll kill an hour doing audio commentary for this.
Right.
Nope, you know, because I don't have a lot of art videos now. It's just been podcasts. So people are like, oh wow, you just do this podcast. I'm like, no, I also do this other art video stuff. So I got to redo that. But that's coming sooner or later. And then I'm trying to put together like an art tips thing, but that'll have to be afterward because I have to edit those. So someone asked me about like when they're not motivated, what to do, you know, how to work through it. So
When when I'm not motivated, I just look at my bank account and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, but you don't really get paid
I
to
should get some more.
draw,
I
you know.
don't.
So people who are drawing for fun, how do you motivate yourself? And I mean, I know how to motivate you. I just yell at you
Yeah,
until I feel better. So, like, that's true. And
sounds about
so
right.
it sounds about right. But I mean, I think it's a good conversation to have. So I'll do that. And been streaming on the Twitch off and on with the comic. So we got a few new people over there today. That was nice. People
Nice.
discovering the channel. How come you don't have any more views? They're always shocked to find out I have no views. And I have to
Right.
explain to them the whole secret. Like today, I got into the whole secret weapon. So, in college, after I was in a 3 year program at the Art Institute that I dragged out 5 years, right? Because I realized very early on that that school was a scam, as I figured most colleges were, but this one doubly so, and I couldn't get out of it. Like I was gonna owe at least 20 grand, so I'm not owing 20 grand and getting nothing by the time I figured this out. So I'll go
Right.
the full, you know, I'll go the full 46,000, which turned out to be $71,000 because of interest. um, and so what I did is I started working. Like I found an art job fairly quickly while I was in college, doing t-shirt design at an art studio. And at school, anytime there'd be no one seemed to remember my name for whatever reason. I think Brandon, when I don't shave, I blend in.
A little bit.
Have you noticed that? I
I've
tend
seen
to.
at least 5 guys at McDonald's before that look like you. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, like
I'm just like, is there?
if I wanted to be a really good criminal, I have a everybody face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Generic white guy template. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know that template you get in a video game
Uh-huh.
and then you want to actually make it look good?
I would say more. I would say more the detective in an anime look with the glasses, the parted hair. You look just like like the detective off of Full Metal. That guy, the guy with the snap, and he gets killed. That guy. You have that look.
Hughes. Talking
Yeah.
about Hughes. He's not a
Hmm.
detective, but all right.
Whatever.
So
Captain. They're all captains in the anime.
he's in the
Captain Swords.
military. He's in the military, dude. So anyway,
Well, I don't know.
all right, Brandon. So anyhow, all right. Thank you. At least you knew Maze Hughes. I'm proud of you. So,
Caffeine's kicking in.
what did I say? So in school, people who did manage to remember me, like in group projects, we started calling me the secret weapon, right? Like no one knows who this dude is, but we will win every competition of Rob's in our group. And I'm not saying I'm the best artist. I really wasn't. There was far better artists than me at that school. There was some real talent. Um, but I have my secret power, Brandon, is I'm able to take everyone's stuff together. You know what I mean, and make it look cohesive.
Hmm.
Like if your wife did 3D and you drew some commissions and you tried to like coordinate that on your own, it'd be a jumble fuck, right?
Train
Like,
wreck.
yeah, it really would. But I'm able to like, one could say direct, right? One could say that. Um, and then at work, I became very similar. Like I'd be this guy in the back who would turn in things, and they'd go, "Who did that again? Oh, that was that one dude." And then they'd forget about me. Like, why are you here? I used to have people like get shocked when I'd come around the corner. Hey, you visiting? No, I work here, man. Been here for a year. So this happened to me in high school. I remember I used to have like long hair, super long hair. Like my bangs went below my chin, about an inch, and I cut it. And this girl I'd been sitting next to for like 6 months thought I was a new student. Real cute too. Like had a kind of a crush on her. She's like, "Oh, this is me. How you doing?" I'm like, "Hey." But when she realized who I was, then she wanted to talk to me. It's like shit. I, I should have played that one up. You
That
know?
shouldn't have been Rob.
Yeah. I'm Sergey from Robert's, Nerdist, Geekistan, whatever. Wasn't that creative. Anyhow, the secret weapon thing has been plaguing me my whole life. To the point where now I just expect to not get any credit. I get no credit.
Right.
They're going to get no views. Whatever. I'm still working. It hasn't really stopped me from being a part of something.
Well, that's why at conventions I work the table and you just stay in the room. I mean, I chain you to the desk at the room, but you know.
Well, here's the thing. I always stayed at the table. And the problem is there came a point where no one really wanted the print signed because of these print dealers that show up at cons now. They
Right.
assume the artist isn't there. They're just
Uh-huh.
buying prints. So I sort of felt like that's what we were getting lumped in with, like
Right.
um and so a lot of my big ticket sales, like the print sales were going basically to Brandon and the show, and my personal income from the show is commissions, which means I would be able to secure 5 to 10 commissions online, and then I'd do 5 to 10 commissions. That's 20 commissions at the show, which it's a lot of commissions, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're black and white sketches like Mark Bagley, then I could take 100 like him. But we all can't be Mark Bagley.
No.
So I just had Brandon working the table, and I'd be up in the room, and then I would come down for a couple hours to turn in books, and then I'd go back up.
Correction. You would come down for a couple hours so I could go buy you things from other tables.
That's true. That's true too. Well, Brandon, and I had to turn in the books, right? So
Right.
had to get down there somehow. Um, but now we don't really do conventions, so it doesn't really matter. Where was I going with this? Secret weapon. So I had told the secret weapon story, and then that just became Rob's an SW, and I was like, that sounds like Star Wars or social justice. I don't know, guys. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Don't expect. They're like, I think the comment was like actually I think it's open. I can read it. The comment was something like, that's really really interesting. Was it? I want to make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I get this right. I'm looking at this. No, I'm using this name. No, it was something like the secretest weapon on Twitch. I got that one. The secret. That's cute. Uh, but that they are kind of shocked that I don't get all like resentful over it. But I sort of feel like that's a reflection of these guys right on YouTube and shit who they sort of just figure, well, I've been doing things. You should credit me. Like I don't know, not credit, but how do I say this? You should. I should be famous because I'm doing things. You know, like
Right.
most of us will be doing things all the time and never get famous. That's how it works. Like very few do, and the ones who do, sometimes they don't have any talent. It's just how
Yeah.
it works, man. Like there's nothing new about that. That's not social media. That's life. Like how many times did you see a movie you really liked and you think, oh, that director, but the thing you really liked in the movie had nothing to do with that director.
Right.
Like that happens all the time. There's always someone else behind the scenes getting shit done. So that's how I am over here at SketchCraft. But we were getting into what we were talking about last night about. Oh yeah, the Patreon. I went on a whole
Hmm.
Patreon rant last night. Didn't even mean to. Just spewed out of me. So Patreon and Gumroad, like I'm of two minds on these sites. So I must. What is it? I think I'm doing $20 to $25 a month now on Patreon, and it was split up amongst 6 different Patreons, and then I decided last month to eliminate half of them and up my pledges on the other ones. Because like, I think one of them was like $1 and the other one was like $3. And I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do? Who cares? Like what am I? They can't, $1 really isn't going to help them.
Right.
So I'd rather, because look, if I'm having a backer, I'd want someone to at least be able to get me a cup of coffee. I think that's the fair trade.
Yeah.
So I made sure everyone gets a cup of coffee plus taxes plus a bagel if they want one a month. Coffee and a bagel. I think that is a tip. Um, but also, I had people on Patreon who just weren't posting shit, which is fine. That happens. But then when they do post stuff, they immediately also post it online. And I'm not saying everything on Patreon has to be exclusive content because people still have to promote themselves. And
Right.
that if you're doing a Patreon, chances are what you're really doing is subsidizing or incentivizing the creation of objects. And we all get to benefit from that, right?
Hmm.
But there has to be some, I feel, level of, there has to be some special thing for the people who put in the mullahs, Brandon. There has to be something,
Right.
you know? And when I come across the ones that do zilch, I'm just like, well, then I don't care. You know, I mean, that's just how I feel. Not as a
Right.
creator, but just as a fan. Like, I don't see the point. Am I wrong on that? Like, do you?
No, no, and it's a donation type thing basically, and there's times where you put in. I like Kickstarter because you're gonna for the most part you get what you put in money wise value, almost like buying something. I mean, it is buying something, but when you're on Patreon and people maybe post once a month and then they go, "Oh, sorry, I had to work extra at my day job, blah blah blah," all these other things that come up, and they're like, "But I'll post more next month." You're like, well, then can I just get a refund for this month and give you more money next month when there's more content? So
Well, I,
it's,
I think Patreon works really good for like indie game development. You
oh, yeah,
know, like that makes a lot of sense because games are hard. You know,
right.
takes a lot of time. Great way to promote. Even webcomics, I get it. But it's difficult for me to get completely behind paying for podcasts unless I feel like the person doing the podcast is really bringing me something unique. So, two podcasts I was supporting, and right now I'm supporting one of them. One was Making Star Wars. MakingStarWars.net puts his podcast out. This guy, Jason Ward's been doing this forever, and he really has inside scoops. Folks, I've worked on Star Wars stuff. Telling you, the man has the scoops. Only person on the internet that I trust with Star Wars news. He's not always right. He's really good at telling you, no clue, this is a rumor, and he's extremely juvenile. Like when you listen to his podcast, it's a lot of like 11th grader humor. Throws people off. They expect something more. Is legit the word, Brandon? It's
Dignified?
possibly. It is literally the 11th grade with that guy. You know, and sometimes it annoys me, but that's hey, there's sometimes for exclusive info comes a cost. You know,
Right.
doesn't bother me too much. I don't think I'd hang out with the dude, but I enjoyed the podcast. Problem is, he got to the point where it's like he's not posting for like 3 months, and when he does, it immediately goes up on my podcast feed too, because I also subscribe to the regular podcast because I keep track. And so at that point, I'm like, well, he's making his money on ad revenue from the site that they do because they do a bunch of podcasts, post the sites. Doesn't really need my Patreon love. You know what I mean? Doesn't really need it.
Hmm.
I feel like he's not pushing it like I really need this to get going. So I'm like, I'll take that money out. And another podcast I was supporting was Liam Robertson, is an insider, a gaming insider. He's out the UK. He used to do these videos called Unseen 64. You ever watch those?
Mm-mm.
A lot of good inside stories on older developing studios, game develop studios that went under. Companies like Factor 5, um, Platinum Games, all sorts of stuff. His info is extremely good. Having worked on games, I can assure you, Liam knows what he's talking about. So I took the Jason Ward money and gave it right to Liam and up my pledge. So like, I think I'm doing 10 to 15 a month, somewhere around there. I can't remember. That's pretty good. $10 a month is more than I'm paying for Disney Plus. So, um, and now I get my name at the end of the credits. It was funny. He was doing his last podcast, and he goes, and he names all the people supporting it, and, and it's the same names. And then he gets
Hmm.
to and SketchCraft. Huh, that's a new one. I'm like, welcome to the show, bitches. You know,
Right.
wait till he realizes I'm always wondering when they have the inside scoop if I'll get in trouble one day. Like, you follow them? Did you tell them? No, I
Right.
follow them to know what they're saying. Ha ha ha. So I can when he has a leak on stuff I work on, then I'm gonna let my bosses know we have a leak.
Right.
No, I just enjoy the show. He's really good, real level-headed too. Doesn't spend his time ripping on shit that he hates. And he talks about developers. I like really inside information on like indie dev studios. Like there was this company that was making a game on the Wii called Project Hammer early on, where you were gonna have a giant hammer and slam it down, and it had
Oh,
like
wow.
this kind of like 2000s ish cyber dude uh, motif, and it
Hmm.
never went right. It just fell through the cracks. It was a big deal back in 2005, 2006. And then he brings up why that happened, and he goes through the whole project development, and he spends sometimes a years talking to developers to get them to like open up, and then he has to be really careful about the information he gives, so he can't point leads anywhere. He's really good. I really enjoy listening to the podcast, and they still play games. So sometimes he has a couple fans on there, but they play games, so they're still fans. You know what I'm saying, Brandon? It's worth the money. But the other thing that irked me was Gumroad. Do you know what Gumroad is?
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
So Gumroad is like a place where you can go and sell digital goods,
Okay.
a la carte, one-offs. And so generally what happens is for art people, they put up little mini tutorials that are like $8. Sometimes they're like 30, which I'm always like, no.
Right.
Because I've spent $71,000 on my education. So
We got,
but
same with ours over here.
And I know going into Gumroad that these aren't going to be very professionally put together tutorials. They're generally inside dudes who have knowledge, who want to share it in some way that it's very hard to put it somewhere, and they kind of want to see, like a return for their efforts.
Yeah.
So every now and then I buy a Gumroad set. Like, I'll spend $8 here, I'll spend $12 there. I'm interested to know this thing or that thing. The problem is, 9 times out of 10, it's literally just them working, and they speed up the video and kind of randomly talk about shit that has nothing to do with the fucking topic at hand, like very loosely, and in a way that like it basically could be when I stream the real time art. Brandon, are you aware of this? Yeah, when I stream real time art and we're just chatting, I think people learn more from that than these Gumroads, man, and it's tough. Plus, searching Gumroad's tough. Like, if you find a Gumroad you like say you find a tutorial and they have the creator's name, and you want to click on that creator's name, you can't. You can't just click on the creator's name to go to their page and see what else they have. You have to. It's a whole convoluted effort. So I've had people before bring up, well, how come I don't do Gumroads? And why don't I do Patreons? And let me explain to you people why I don't. I don't do the Patreon because I don't need another monthly thing to do. You know? I have enough shit. And to charge people monthly for things, and to really what it comes down to me is spamming the shit out of all my social medias. Right? The Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. I just, unless people have just magically found you and you've become famous for very little effort whatsoever, like, unless you're one of those lucky few, it just comes off in a way where I just feel people will mute you, after a day or two of it.
It's like, what it reminds me of is, did you ever have I don't know, I doubt you did, but did you ever have anybody in your family that got to sell those like Cutco knives or those things like that?
Amway, Avon. My mom sold Avon.
Yeah, Avon. So it's like they get it, they buy the $500 worth of stuff, and then they got to immediately try to sell. But all they have in their network is all their friends and family. So they hit you up. Hey, you want this? You want that?
But imagine if it was for monthly, not one-offs. Like, I get the one-off. So that's where I go, well, okay, like Kickstarters, I get the Gumroad. The problem with the Gumroad is when I see a $30 Gumroad, I say, hell no. I feel like Gumroad, it's like you kind of want to keep it under $10. At that point, I would not charge $10 for a tutorial that takes a tremendous amount of effort. Yeah. I would want to charge more. You have to go to Kickstarter for that. People just don't respect Gumroad, dude. It's almost like those Creative Market. You know what Creative Market is? Where you can go like clip art or buy fonts or some shit. And it's like they used to try to sell things individually. They can't. So now they put them all in bundle packs. It's like 1,001 fonts or 600 After Effects techniques. So you don't even need I saw this one today. You don't even need to be a professional to use. I'm like, so you don't even have to have any skills or knowledge to make stuff. Like, is that the kind of content you want to buy into? Hey, I can't wait to go see that Deadpool movie that was made by people who have no talent. Like, I just sit there looking at it, and so for some reason last night it grind my gears. Some fierce for no reason. It didn't happen that day, but the cup boiled over last night. So, I mean, I know for a fact I could put together another. We did DigiCraft 4 years ago, And I've had people ask me when I'm going to do another DigiCraft. And Brandon, you remember how much effort that took?
Yes.
And finally, when I got all the DigiCrafts up, I had them on Mega, and then Mega went under. So people were like, "Where's all the videos?" I'm like, "Dude, they were up for 60 days. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't
Yeah.
have them, I can't do anything about those links. They're gone, and it takes a month or two to upload everything because they're
Oh
tremendous
yeah.
files. Because I gave high res files, high res PDFs, an hour long commentary, whatever per thing. It was a tremendous amount of effort, and I think I made like $5,000. You go, that's a lot, Rob. I assure you, I did more than $5,000 worth of effort putting that thing
Right.
together. You know, so
Oh
who
yeah.
knows what it would be now? Maybe I would do more, maybe I would do less. But I just, I don't know, Brandon. You know, I want to move on to other things. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the more I think about going to Kickstarter and be like, here's the thing where I can teach you how to draw some shit I don't own. Somehow I got a feeling it's going to get me in trouble with Kickstarter. You know,
Oh yeah.
so I just got a feeling. I may be wrong on that, but I got a feeling. So I don't know what to do. You know, what
Sounds
are
about right.
you moving around?
No, I just yawned. Sorry. Still waking up.
So what else happened this week, Brandon? Joker trailer.
Um, Joker trailer came out. Definitely a much better trailer than the. Oh no, wait, not yeah. It was a good trailer. I liked it. I mean, it's hard to not. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is such a good actor, you know. So it's like anything he's on, you're just like, you just you're like, okay, I like this character, and he's such a method actor, you know. He gets into his characters.
You ever see
So,
The Master?
uh, no.
Yeah. So it's basically the movie. Basically about the creator of Scientology, Ron L. Hubbard, and Joaquin plays this peripheral figure that comes in contact with him, and he he has a scene where he's supposed to be a photographer, like at a Macy's. You know, you get those family photos,
Hmm.
and he just starts fucking with this guy. Like he's fucking with this dude and just fucking with him, and fucking just pisses the guy off, and gets into a fight with him right in the middle of the Macy's. And when during that scene, I remember leaning over to my friend Fabian, who's from the UK. I always tell people that Fabian from the UK, and I'm like, he should be the Joker. Just go watch that scene from The Master where he's fucking with this dude in the Macy's, and you're gonna see exactly how this movie got done. You know,
Right.
uh, I'm heartbroken by this film, man, because I love the way it looks. I really like how he's portraying the Joker here. I think Batman belongs in the '80s because, I mean, let's face it, the Burton movie in the '80s works.
Yeah.
People. I know a lot of people don't like that version of Batman now, but people are nuts, dude. I'll take that version of Batman over the Justice League shit any day of the week. But it's a world where there's going to be no Batman, where Thomas Wayne is like the bad guy, and
Yeah. If it was, sorry, but if it was,
go ahead.
since it's an Elseworlds type movie, you know, it could have had Batman. It could have had something like that in there. At least just maybe them not fighting, but just that whole like
When I think
Batman
of,
could catch him.
I'm not saying they couldn't do a Joker movie and then eventually put him in the Batman films, like a movie down. I get that. It's the fact that it will never happen. At that point, I just can't get into it. I'm like, I'm never gonna see this guy square up against Batman. I'm never gonna see that. You imagine if we got a Heath Ledger Joker movie, but he never faced Batman? Like, I don't get the point. You know,
Yeah.
I just don't.
It's an origin story to the Joker, but it's an origin story to the Joker that's not in any continuation. There's nothing to it. Like, it's not like this Joker becomes the Jared Leto Joker, and it's not like this Joker becomes the Heath Ledger Joker. It's just another version of Joker, but an origin. That's
There was a meme I saw today that had Jack Nicholson's face on there from the '89 film, and it said in the '80s this Joker had to fall into a vat of chemicals Today we just throw them into society. It's a picture of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I'm like, to be fair,
To be fair.
Heath Ledger, probably nailed that. So right after that movie came out, it was 2008. 2009, Joe and I went to the last Wizard World I ever went to in Long Beach. And
Mhm.
Joe and I stayed at the Hilton because it was dirt cheap. And what a shitty hotel. But the Hilton from the Long Beach Convention Center, if you look at the convention center, you turn left, you go down this main street, you make the first left, and it's 2 or 3 blocks down on your right hand side is the Hilton. So Joe and I come out the Hilton, we make a left to walk toward the convention center. As we get to the first corner, there is this guy with a duffel bag around his shoulder, wearing the exact same fucking clothes with the exact same fucking hair as Heath Ledger, but he ain't going to con. I just sat there and said, Joe, it's him. Like, he just looked
Right.
at the Joker. He's like, holy shit. I'm like, he just existed out of nowhere in the world, right? It just appeared. Some guy picked him up and he took off. He's going off to the bank. Like, there was no Joker cosplay that year. I assure you. So
Right.
it just, I like to think he's out there now somewhere, causing
Right.
mayhem.
Same outfit.
But yeah, I don't know, man. So I'm glad we're gonna get to see it together because I didn't know my wife can't take me bitching about DC movies, Justice League DC films anymore. Her cup runneth over. She had to hear about Justice League for 10 years. I've been talking about Justice League the movie right after we first met, like,
Right.
and for years it was just this running thing. Oh no, the Justice League. She was tired of the Justice League before there was even an MCU. And it's true. I remember when I was like, they're making the MCU, and eventually they're going to form the Avengers. They're like the Justice League. And she looked at me, don't fucking do it. Don't ruin it, Rob. I like that Iron Man. It was George Miller, director of Happy Feet and Fury Road, was going to make a Justice League movie around 2006-ish, 7, yeah. But Nolan put a kibosh to that. Sucks because they actually had a set down in Australia and all the actors were down there. It was going to happen. But no dice. So here we are. Joker movie. Man, a lot of people are excited. And I don't know what to say, man. I'm only going to see it because you know who John Schnepp is?
Yeah, from Collider.
Yeah.
Passed away.
Yeah, so he did this great documentary. That's how I first became aware of his name when he put up a Kickstarter to do a documentary on Superman Lives. What happened to Superman Lives, the Tim Burton Superman movie, which I had been following since 2000 since 1996 or 5, whenever Kevin Smith was first hired to write the script. I was like, Kevin Smith's writing a Superman movie. Couldn't wait. Turns out though, he'd been making stuff for a long time that I was really a big fan of and had no idea. You probably didn't even know this. He did a lot of the writing and editing, a lot of the editing on Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You remember that cartoon?
Oh yeah.
You know those like times in Space Ghost they would just hold on him and he would do weird shit?
Yeah, that weird pacing of just like
That's
not
Schnepp.
doing something but doing something.
That's John Schnepp. 100%. And he would talk all the time about how like the producers or his bosses would be like, "Why are you doing that?" Like, what is it? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
He's just got that really weird sense of humor. He's also, when he was a kid, he's from Chicago. He found out that John Hughes was directing a movie downtown called Ferris Bueller's. He went down there during the scene. You know in Ferris Bueller's when he's singing that Dunkashane?
Yeah,
And
down
then
the street.
Dunkashane, it was Dunkashane, and then what was the other one that he did? The one after that, the faster paced one.
I can't think of it
Right,
right now.
right. I know. So, and they get all those people. Nah, nah, nah. What's that? Come on, it's on the. See, now I just went to Let's Dance. That's not it. Like, Let's dance. Turn on your dance. That's not it. So anyway, he's there.
Telegram?
I can't remember. He's there in there when they yell into the camera. He's in one of the shots. So as a young schnepper. So, but
Twist
John,
and Shout, maybe?
huh? Twist and shout. There you go.
Yeah.
I know. Every time I think of the Twist and Shout, it jumps into Let's Dance by Bowie. Like,
Let's dance.
right, the 80s fucked with my head, man. Like, the 80s and music. I was not musically inclined in the 80s. I only listened to musical scores in movies. So, but Schnepp was really looking forward to the Joker movie when they announced it. And I couldn't care less, given that I knew he wasn't going to go up against Batman. Not in that movie, but ever. It's not that it's in that movie, it's the ever part. I just want to make that clear, folks. I'm not against doing a Joker movies. He's a rich enough villain that he can support a film. But in a universe where there's never going to be a Batman, I don't know. But Schnepp was super excited. And last summer, Schnepp passed away. Like last summer. Not this summer, but the summer before. Been a year. Out of the blue, right after he went to VegasCon. I almost went to VegasCon that year just to finally hang out with him, you know?
Uh-huh.
And that's when I was like, I'm going to go to E3 instead. I'll go hang out with them there. He left the day I went to Collider Studios. He left that day to go to VegasCon. So I just missed him. Just missed him. And everyone was like, yeah, friend of Schnepp, SketchCraft. That was crazy to me. But I backed the Kickstarter, so I'm on that video. When you go to the end, SketchCraft in the credits. So, but I'm going to go see the film because every time they bring up the Joker movie, I just think of Schnepp. You know? Gets me all nostalgic, all sad inside. So, what else happened this week, Brandon?
I bit the bullet, spent more money than I'd like, and I got an iPad Pro. So now I'm a pro.
What year version did you get of that iPad Pro?
It's the same one you have, the 2017.
I don't have a 2017, do I?
Yeah. Whichever the one is, I
have a 2015.
I don't know. I'd have to grab the box or something. It's on the table.
You got to find out which Apple Pencil's compatible with your iPad Pro, if it's one or two.
I need to find out. Me?
Certainly you can do
figure
this.
It out.
Certainly. Must I do everything around here?
I'm going to be over here with a regular pencil trying to draw on this shit.
Push harder, Brandon.
It's not working. It's not working. I'm sweating all over it.
Get a marker.
Pushing hard.
Get a marker.
While we're on the topic and we're just talking about it, brothers, do you have a screen protector on yours, like the Ghost Armor screen protector, or does that mess with the Apple Pencil when you try to draw? Like, did you ever put a screen protector on yours?
Yeah, I got this matte one. It's like a matte. It's got a little bit of tooth to it. It's not the one that's Paperlight. There's this other one's called like a matte. I'll get you the name.
Yeah, send me a link.
Yeah.
Send me a link.
I got that on there.
Yeah.
You got to put a screen protector on there, Brandon.
Okay. Yeah, we already got the case on. I got a nice leather case. Came today. Real nice.
Yeah, I gave her the name of the case. That's a nice one. It's called what's it?
Zugu.
Zugu. ZUGU case.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Their packaging that it came in, this little box, like it had a little sample of the leather on the outside of the box. I was like, oh wow. You lift it up, it's all nice. The leather looks good. I got the red blood leather with the gold iPad. Looks real good.
I have good taste on that, Brandon.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I was happy with it. So we got that on right now. It's charging. Jessica started just setting things up. She's all excited to use it. So
her
and me. Well, she's excited because of the magazine stuff, formatting through iPads. She could see. She said she could see directly the sizing or some shit. I don't know.
I'm not having her do that anymore. So it's just going to be you using that. Yeah. So you got to get Clip Studio Paint on there, and you'll be using that while she uses the computer.
Should I get Procreate also?
You can, but I just don't see you doing anything with it.
Right, just for fun.
Yeah, it's worth the $5, but
it's $10.
I would really just get really proficient at using one thing right now, Brandon.
Gotcha. So, need to learn how to do perspective.
That's been we've been talking. You've been on that plan here now for how many years actively? 3?
2?
No, 3.
Actively.
2016.
2. You can't count the months, almost 6 months where I couldn't use my arm.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
Could after the surgery.
Nah,
It was my right arm.
before the surgery, there was that long period of
I
you sitting on your ass. Because I had to talk with you 3 years ago when I first moved here.
Oh, the birds and the bees conversation we had. Yeah, you had
Yeah,
to explain. You had to
yeah,
explain to me
yeah. The
anatomy
just
and
like the
how it all
bees, you're
works.
gonna go fucking extinct if you don't get your shit together. Yeah, we had a nice winter chat 2016. I remember where I was at right when I called you too.
All our chats are just glorious.
I don't know. We haven't had a chat like that since, but you keep it up. You keep it up. If you waste my time with this comic you're working on, this whole thing can go dark, Brandon. You understand this?
Yes.
This show can get incredibly violent. Like,
Well, that's a good thing about now having the iPad Pro. I'll be able to, like, all this week. I went in early and I was staying late. One, because it'll help pay for this iPad Pro we just bought, but she's been using the computer so much. She's been doing recordings with you and then also using the computer nonstop. And I've just been cleaning the house or working late or rehabbing my leg a little more. And it's just been like, well, now I could finally, if she's on the computer with you or doing the magazine stuff, I can finally sit down and draw some stuff. So, because by the time she gets done, it's almost, 10:30, 11, and I'm like, hey, I got to I got to go to bed by 11:30. So it's always, I'm not going to start drawing for 10, 20 minutes and then have to get back up. So it's going to definitely help. So in the next week or so, I'm going to get that Apple Pen and the screen protector and get work started on that. Just getting used to it.
yeah, I've been telling you the past 2 years you're gonna have to get a new computer because your computer sucked, and then
Right.
you're gonna have to immediately get a second computer because I had this feeling that schedules were. I've been telling you right after you get a new computer, you're gonna have to get a second something.
Right.
Like I could
Right.
just feel. I'm
Yeah.
not saying, man, I'm fucking psychic. What it is I know production, right?
You
And
see the patterns.
I see the patterns, Brandon. I see the
Yeah.
patterns. So the
It's
pattern.
like,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I've talked.
We both have this like with me, it's with sports. I play fantasy football, and I've told you before. I'm like, I'm pretty good. I've won money off it, and I just see certain things when players who's going to hold out, who's injury prone, just things you see. And it's like you with art. You always got to like a little heads up on things where you're like, this is going to break big, or this is going to be the product you use, or this is going to be a thing. And I don't fight it now. Before I might have, but now it's like when we had the extra money for the computer, I was like, hey, we finally have a chunk of change. What computer to get? And you told us, and then you ended up getting the same computer when yours crashed. The same rig. So and then now it's like I didn't want to spend the money, but you told us, hey, there's going to come a point where she's going to be using the computer, I'm going to be using the computer, it's going to clash. So we're like, all right, we can't get a new computer right now, but we're like, let's get the iPad Pro. That'll
Well,
make
beyond the
things
computer,
easy.
you would have to get a computer and a Cintiq. It doesn't
Right.
make any sense. And to be honest, you're not using the Cintiq's pressure sensitivity for anything special. Like, you're really just drawing, And so, like, I use a Cintiq to do a lot of complex stuff. I have an iPad Pro. I have Clip Studio Paint on there. I have Procreate. I've done stuff in them. I set up commissions for you in Procreate. I've set up commissions for you in Clip Studio, like the Mega Man, for example. I did that in Clip Studio. I know how they work, but I don't need that. Like I really need the Photoshop. Like that's where all my 20 I've been using Photoshop since 1995, man. Like I know how it works. Um but with you, like you've been using Clip Studio Paint and the full version of that program is on the iPad. It works. So to buy another desktop to make more space in that tiny amount of space you already have with the giant
Right.
dog and all your
She's a
Ar-
medium-sized
all your
dog. Okay,
Arizona
she's not that big bone.
Cardinals, all your Arizona Cardinals memorabilia everywhere and action figures. Just I don't know how it is now, but the last time I was over there, you were starting to become like that family that buys cases of things from Costco and just stocks them. Like
Whatever. Not even.
it's like that
You you
closet full of
you
water bottles and
you paint the
golden.
worst
No,
imagery.
the boxes of goldfish and Cheez-Its and
We don't even go to Costco, bro. We go to
I
like
didn't say
Safeway across the
I
street.
said
Like,
it's like that. I'd say it was that. Yeah, you're getting down that path. So, given that,
I'm gonna do a tour today during the day when I'm gonna do a tour online of my place for everyone to see on Instagram. I'm like, see, look at Rob was wrong. But first, I'm gonna clean.
no,
I'm gonna
you
clean
need to
and
go
organize.
back 2 years ago. The last time I was there. Again, I don't think you listen when I talk. I said I
I
don't know
don't.
how it is now, but the last time I was there, you were inching down that path toward that. Man, my uncle was like
It,
that. He was like a heavier dude who went to a lot of sports stuff, but he just started stacking things one day, like
I
licorice,
have two Cardinals things in my apartment.
mint
By the way,
Milanos.
I have two. Now, as far as action figures and art books and comics, yeah, those are fucking everywhere, but not food.
So
But
I just take that into consideration. I'm like, he needs safe space, and
well,
anything that you can do in Clip Studio Paint on an iPad, you'll be able to do on the couch. You'll be able to do wherever. You'll be able to take it to work and sketch on your lunch. Makes a lot of sense. You know, Brandon?
speaking of the couch, while we're just bullshitting, you know, how I had two couches. I had the really long couch and then the shorter couch, and you kept sleeping on the shorter couch.
Right.
Well, we threw out the longer couch, so we still have the shorter one. So you'll be nice and comfy on the short couch again, like you like. Which I never understood. You kept sleeping, being a taller, you're an inch taller than me, but you slept on the shorter couch. It never made sense.
Because I grew up poor, Brandon.
I used to
Like
love sleeping on the floor, so I love sleeping on the floor.
my father, everyone in my family was short and poor, so they owned small things that were broke, and I had to just curl up like a dog, like just curl. You've seen me; I curl when I
Yeah,
I ball up and just wait through the winter. You know, like,
I've seen you curled up on my couch, and I thought to myself, do I put a blanket on him? And then I remembered, do not wake Rob. He will choke you out or karate chop you. So I just left you be.
I'm not a violent person, but if you get near me when I'm sleeping, you do so at your own risk. You know.
We almost died on the freeway. Rob was sleeping in the car on the way to a convention. I touched his shoulder to wake him up because I said Rob like 5 times. And he literally was like Kung Fu Bruce Lee ready to just rip my throat out. And I was like, we're going to swerve and die. So,
It'd be funny if I did pop you in the throat and you just the car
well,
hits
and
the
then the
medium,
next,
flips over.
oh yeah, the next morning when I had to wake up Rob, there's a bar kind of between me and the couch. I literally stayed behind the bar and I was like, Rob, you gotta wake up, buddy. Like, hey Rob. Like I thought about throwing
You
a
get a
pillow
coat
or something.
hanger from the back side of the
Right, just tie them all together like one long string
past
of
all the
coat hangers.
boxes of Lay's chips and goldfish crackers and
People are
white
gonna think
cheddar
I'm some kind of
Cheez-Its.
like food hoarder. They'd be like,
You are
this fat ass has got like
cases
80
of
boxes of Lay's.
Diet Monster, you know, like like that's helping.
Do they have Diet Monster drinks?
Yeah, it's
Oh jeez.
yeah, it's like in the blue can or something because Joe
Oh
gets
wow.
those. It's like you know that episode of Seinfeld where they get all that fat-free yogurt, but it's still got all the sugar and calories, but it's fat-free. Like
Yeah.
everyone's putting on weight, but they think it's fat-free. Same thing. The only thing I can think of this week that happened was okay. So every August 29th, I like to remind the world to remember Judgment Day. People don't know. August 29th, 1997, 2:04 a.m., 2:04 2:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Skynet launched the nuclear weapons, incinerating the majority of life on Earth. Judgment Day. Sarah Connor and her son John saved us from that horrible, nightmarish future. And I don't forget, Brandon. I let
Never.
everyone know.
You give thanks to our Savior.
I do. And this year was especially
Especially,
delicious.
yeah.
Remember, no, it said Nacho Libre. This tonight's dinner
Ah,
is especially delicious. I knew there was a damn good chance we were gonna get a new Terminator trailer, so I made certain at 2:14 I dropped that fucking meme everywhere, you know. And sure enough, man, James Cameron posts on his Twitter, you know, thanks for all the Judgment Day stuff. You know, new trailer coming the day after. Dark Future. So the Dark Future trailer, second trailer came out, and it's all right. Brandon. Here's the thing,
mhm.
man. I really just don't think it's fair to determine whether a movie's good or bad based on a trailer. One way or the other, you know?
Right.
I think at this point we've all seen horrible films that have amazing trailers,
Right.
you know? And we've seen amazing films have shitty trailers. The one I can think of the most that people forget was Paddington. Paddington had some of the worst trailers I have ever seen in my entire life.
The bear movie?
Yeah, the bear movie. You ever seen that bear
Oh yeah.
movie?
The trailers did not do it justice.
It looks like schlocky nonsense, you know,
Yeah.
like just Smurfs bottom of the barrel bullshit. And those are
Very.
just wonderfully charming, amazing films.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, they're really good. So I don't know if the movie's going to be great or not, but I know that people who saw whole scenes of that film uncut as they exist in apparently in the actual film at CinemaCon back in March told me that the pace of the film is very 90s-ish, like slower. It's not like it builds up. You know where everyone is in the geography of the film. That it felt like a modern day version of Terminator 2, and that it had the same kind of vibe. It had some playful scenes, but it had this like tension, and the effects were really good. But from the trailers, you sort of get the sense that they just really want to start when the hit the bodies with the floor. You know, they want to they just want to
Yeah.
go into. I just don't think the marketing for this film is
Just
very
right
good.
into I'll be back and just
Well, they put Linda. She even says I'll be back, but
yeah.
it's weird how it plays, and I guarantee you, there's a good chance that that's not how it plays within the scene of that scene. Like it doesn't play that
Right.
way in the film, you know. So, but I can't convince no one of this shit. Nor at the point do I even want to. Like I don't care. It's not my job to fucking convince people to go see movies. You know whose job it is to convince people to go see movies?
The people making the movie?
The trailer people. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing, folks. A trailer's job is to get you to go see the movie. It should get you to want to see the movie at least more than you did before. If
And
that's
most
Go ahead.
companies hire outside companies to do their trailers, right? Like it's
Right.
like a whole
Right.
agency thing. It's a whole separate
So how am
business.
I supposed to know if a movie's good when the thing that's trying to get me to go see it was made by people who had nothing to do with making that movie?
Right.
Does that make any sense? Like the people who had nothing to do with editing this film, directing this film, casting this film, writing. People had nothing to do with that. Just a third party trailer slash marketing company took all the footage and on their own put something together, and some bean counter signed off on it. They're supposed to tell me how good the actual film is. Let me tell you where
Right.
this went sour. This went sour with a movie called Suicide Squad.
I was
Yeah,
gonna bring it
right.
up, but I didn't want
Yeah, so the Suicide Squad had this trailer that everyone loved. So much so, apparently the film was nothing like that trailer.
to. No. You know,
Super Zack Snydery, from what I hear, right?
yeah, and the trailers, which I loved, and they had so much more Joker in the trailer. It seemed like he was the villain. They had even the scenes, where he's wearing the tuxedo and got the Tommy gun. You're just like, oh yes, we're gonna get like the Paul Dini Batman Adventures type Joker, where he wears tuxedos and all kind of different costumes, and he's over the top. And then, listen, the movie I know sucked. Okay, I loved
Hold
the
on, I want
love
to
of
finish
Jared.
this sentence. You're jumping
Yeah, go
around.
ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
so the trailer comes out. Everyone loves the trailer, but behind the scenes, the movie was nothing like that. It was
Right.
slow. It was long. It was dark. So, without letting the director or anybody that was a part of that film in on it, they hired the trailer company to recut that entire film. The
Oh
trailer
wow.
company edited the final version of Suicide Squad that you see in the theaters. That's edited by a movie trailer company, which is why it has two opening sequences. The only time I've seen a movie have two opening sequences was Terminator Salvation, to bring it back to Terminator. And that's that movie, man. Like, how do you fuck up when you got Christian Bale as John Connor? You know what I mean? How do you
Right.
fuck that one up? That movie literally has two logo sequences. It opens up, it says Terminator Salvation, plays a whole scene, and then starts Terminator Salvation again. Who does that? Like, who does that? Suicide Squad had the same thing with like that. It shows you each character, and then they have stats You know,
Right.
like you're playing a video game or something. Fucking weird, man. And then it has the logo sequence. I only saw it the once when we were at the theater. Maybe I got out of order, but I just remember going, "This fucking movie's weird." Um, so hold on. So sorry. So that's the only time I can think of where the people who made the trailer also ended up making the movie, but not in that order. You know what I mean? Well, actually, in that order. People who had nothing to do with making the movie made a trailer, and then the company had them re-edit the whole film.
Yeah.
So weird, man. So weird. So if you're not feeling this Terminator trailer, I hear, you know, it's way better than what we're being led on. It's directed by Tim Miller, who did before Deadpool. He did the Deadpool movie, but before Deadpool, he did some amazing trailers for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. He does know storytelling, and I think it's really fucking annoying. Like I was watching Angry Joe did a reaction video today, and there's a guy on there, not Angry Joe, but one of the guys on there. When they brought up Tim Miller's directing, he goes, "Oh, that guy who got kicked off Deadpool." I'm like, "What the fuck have you ever made, motherfucker?" Like I got all mad. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was like, I normally liked it, but this fucking dick takes a fucking swipe. You couldn't hack that movie. The fucking make one fucking thing. You know what I mean? How about this? Fucking Mr. Know-It-All. Just take some footage from a movie you like and just edit it into a fucking minute long music video and make me care. This is why I have to say this for buried at the back of podcast, right? I can't put this anger out on the internet. Is look, man, if you're gonna spend your whole fucking time just shitting on people, you know, because they made shitty things, I got a really fucking good hunch that the second that same person makes something, they want everyone to praise them for it.
Right.
You know, I don't agree with it. Like, if you don't like something, tell me why you don't like it. They were mentioning how, well, David Goyer wrote this, and he wrote Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, and we don't like those movies. They suck. I'm like, he's done a million things, some good, some bad. He wrote Blade 2. I like Blade 2. He wrote and directed Blade 3. Don't like that. Wrote Batman Begins. I like that. Wrote the story for Dark Knight, and then, like, people work on different things, Brandon.
Yeah.
And as a sports guy, you understand when some fucking person out there goes, "Oh, that guy who played on that team sucked. Fuck them. They'll never be good." That is ridiculous.
Right.
It's a ridiculous statement. I shouldn't care, and 9 times out of 10, I don't. But today, I
Yeah.
was just like, "Fuck you." Then I had to remind myself, what does it fucking matter? Like, Tim Miller doesn't give a shit what this fucking turd Winkle thinks. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, Tim Miller, there's a really good, to bring it back to John Schnepp, he did this thing called comic book shopping, where he would go to a comic book shop with a celebrity and point them out books, and they'd buy a bunch of books at a comic shop in LA. And he took Tim Miller there. That's a good episode. And Tim Miller was describing a lot of making of things behind Deadpool, and he owns a company called Blur Studios. And I'm like, this guy fucking ran Blur Studios, like these he didn't give a shit what these people think, Rob. So why do you care? It just sucks because I know a million people are gonna watch that video and they're just gonna go, yeah, that's right, fuck that guy, couldn't hack it on a Deadpool movie. Like, dude, let it
Yeah.
go, guys. Like, but the second they make a Mario Maker level, play my level. Give me likes and review. Or they make a YouTube video my trailer reaction video. Make sure you give us likes and subscribes. Or they complain. Look, it's hilarious to me when guys put out reaction videos and then people complain about them in their chat and then they go on a Twitter and then complain about the people who complain.
Reactions upon reactions upon
Right. So I
reactions.
had this conversation with myself in my head. And it all leads to the point where, what's the point, Rob? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Make a whole video why you shouldn't care. Like, I don't care. Fucking care. I don't care. That's why I save it for the end of this podcast. But it did irk me today. Because I'm like, you just taking a shit on fucking what? You don't like what that guy did? Yeah, I mean, look,
Right.
man, Stan Lee wrote a lot of bullshit for 20 something years before he made the Fantastic Four and Spider Man. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of schlocky bullshit got done. And if you think the best thing you're ever gonna, a creative person's ever gonna do is in their youth, You got another thing coming, you know? Go look at Johnny Cash. Amazing music right at the end, right?
Oh yeah.
Some of his best at the end. So, I mean, and maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I don't see my art getting worse, Brandon, you know? And fucking when, I don't know, this is all my life. I've always appreciated reviews and commentary if it came from the point of what were they attempting to do and did they accomplish it?
Right.
The only time I throw a project under the bus because of a creator is if that creator is a straight up asshole. Like they go out in public and
Right.
they become a legitimate dick, you know? And we know those creators.
Oh,
Some of us, Brandon, interact with them on Instagram every now and then.
I've
Speaking of
I've
Deadpool,
pissed them. I've pissed them off. I've
even
pissed
then,
them off.
even then, I always give Liefeld credit, man. He's a really good sport about a lot of it, you know?
Right.
Like people in politics can't put up with half the shit Liefeld gets, you know?
Oh yeah.
So, um,
And just to add to that point, like even when I'm not putting out the best work, when I'm trying, like I'm legitimately trying, you don't give me shit. Like what I'm going for and what I'm trying to achieve, and you've seen it. You've worked with me on art, and you've been like, okay, like it gets to a point where you see I'm trying, so you don't give me shit. And that's the thing that people gotta understand. Like these people are still trying. It'd be different if he was trying to, like, if Tim Miller was just trying to put out crap after crap just to make money. But if people are actually putting their effort into making something they're passionate about, like, it's hard to shit on them. Like, I could never make fun of someone at the gym who's like more fat than me. Like, they're trying.
are
They're
you that
trying.
piece of shit who's trying to be
Right.
on the treadmill last week,
You're
couldn't
trying to
fucking
lose
hack it?
weight.
Ah, ha, 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 you know?
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I just be like, I'm like, shit. They're trying like I'm trying. They're putting in the work. So it's not like. So it's the same way. If you see a creator putting in the work, like they're really trying, they're really passionate. It's like,
And you
you
never
know,
know, Brandon, what someone has in them. Like, how do I explain this? So, the Rousseau brothers only did a few episodes on Community before they did Winter Soldier,
which is insane.
right? Like, you don't know. Like, this is why talent scouts, finding talent is a job too. It takes talent
Oh
to
yeah,
find talent. I'm a pretty good gauge of people's skill sets, right, Brandon?
mm-hmm.
Like I know what you're capable of, and I know what your wife is capable of, and how to direct. Like I'm pretty good at that. But you
Right,
know what that comes from? It comes from knowing my limitations, and knowing how to work around my limitations too. And I constantly analyze what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how I can tweak this, how I can push this forward, how I can improve that. I had a guy today on Twitter, hasn't seen my shit since 2014. In caps, gave me the holy shit, has your shit fucking gotten way better? And I'm like, nah, man, my shit was pretty. To be fair, I felt in
to
2013
be fair.
14, I took a step back for a couple years because I burnt myself out. I've had to rebuild all the skill sets. But in another way, my shit is way better because there's shit I'm doing today that I never could have done 5 years ago. You know?
Right,
Like everyone fucking blossoms differently, man. You know? In art, anything creative, it's not a sport thing where you're limited by you basically age because, when you're playing sports or anything physical, there's only so many years your body's going to be able to compete. Age ages you out. There's no way around that, right? Like,
right,
but with creativity, man, it really comes down to time in, effort, and sometimes luck because you could have all the time in, all the talent, you could put in all the effort, and that project could be mismanaged like nobody's business,
right.
and still fail. I mean, as much as people love Spider-Verse, the movie didn't do well financially. Period.
Yeah,
I have friends that worked on the merch. They took a hit, you know. I'm glad to see that Sony's not dropping it, but sometimes really creative shit doesn't always it may break a certain like quality zeitgeist, but it may not uh, break the financial success zeitgeist, right? Like the actual like
right.
financial reward. Where am I going with all this? I'm losing my track.
Bring it home. Bring
Where
it
am
home,
I
Rob.
gotta I don't plan this stuff out. Um, how do I say? I need somebody to end the show. Just I'll hit the end credits. Hold on. Do 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 do. Just start. I
Yes.
could get that cane around my neck and drag me off the
Just
show.
yes. Yeah.
Shut up, Rob. We don't know what you're talking about. Look, just because something does well financially doesn't mean you have talent, right? And vice versa.
Right.
So,
Right. There's plenty of non-talented famous
and there's
people.
only people who do talent who are secret weapons. Ooh, I did. I brought it back. Look at that. I'm pretty good. But it's not all about me. It's not all about me. I legitimately got annoyed. I'm not going to defend the movie. I'm as burnt out on Terminator films as anybody else. You know, since Terminator 3, it's been just this, downhill climb. I didn't even go see the last one. That's how burnt out on Terminator films I am. You
What
know,
was the last one called?
Genesis.
I didn't. Did I?
Right?
I think I watched that on like for
Couldn't do
free
it.
on Hulu or something. I don't even know if I watched it. I think Jessica was watching it, and I was like, hey, just tell me what happens or something.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it, Brandon. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love that second movie. The first and second movie, I love them. They. I saw the first film in 1985. I want to say 85 or 86. I can't remember. I was in L.A. You ever hear of the Night Stalker?
No.
Yeah, there was this guy who was running around murdering people called the Night Stalker. Go look that
Jesus.
one up. And I was in his neighborhood when he was loose. So the cops were everywhere, and we were sent to this house, and we watched Terminator. And let me tell you, watch the guy hunt down a woman when a guy is outside literally hunting down people. It just got etched in my memory, Brandon. You know,
Right.
my uncle was a very irresponsible adult. So show the kid fucking the Terminator. When there's a mass murder outside terminating people. It's crazy, man. It's crazy times. So I want to give it hope, but I'm as skeptical as anyone else. But it's unfair between this or even that there was I won't call it a trailer, but a celebration, whatever teaser thing for Episode 9, right? Star Wars
Hmm.
Episode 9 had like 30 seconds of footage. And people were like, I don't know, is it going to be a good movie? What could be in the movie? I'm like, it's 30 fucking seconds of footage, randomly arranged in a way that may not even be in the fucking movie for all you know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to know what the movie is like based off
That
30 seconds?
the whole race scene with the double blade could be a vision. Could be her fighting herself like the Luke vision where Luke had to fight himself in that cave. It could be anything. It could just be deleted scenes. They do that shit all the time.
I'll never forget the first teaser for Batman Begins.
Uh huh.
The reveal of Batman is a still photo. It's not even footage. Go back and watch that first trailer for Batman Begins. It's got all that footage of Christian Bale walking across the tundra, amazing. But the last sequence, the last scene, Batman appears. It's like a flash. It's a still photo. It's not even footage of him, bro.
That's funny.
Who does that?
Right.
So I've seen worse, and that movie's wonderful. So who the fuck knows, man? The trailer for Superman Returns looked amazing. What a movie! You know, what a film that turned out to be. Um, yeah, man. What would you say is the most let down trailer you've ever seen for a film? Whether it was good or
Hmm.
bad or whatever. Like,
Damn. Um.
I could tell you mine.
Shazam.
Really? Out of your entire life?
The first thing that comes to my mind is how excited I
Okay,
was at first for the Shazam, and then
let's
how
let's do
much
two
I hated
picks.
that movie.
Recent memory and all time. Right? So
Okay,
recent memory,
she's
you would say Shazam was the one that you were really looking forward to, and
right.
it didn't work out, right? I can agree with you there. Um, recent memory. No, I can tell you my all time. My all time is Crow City of Angels.
Yes.
Love that trailer. Loved it. Love the yellow lamp fog thing on the water thing. It's got that same Daredevil has that look. Those lamps that they use. Those New
Right.
York lamps. Um, what a piece of shit film that movie is, man.
Oh,
I,
just the dumpster fire.
oh, oof. I don't even know who made it. I can't even take a shit on them. I don't even know. I can't even remember the fucking people who made it. I don't like that actor. I don't like his acting in that movie. You know, he's overacting like that. I saw that
Right.
scene the other day. I put it back on. It was on my Oculus, and I'm digging through YouTube VR. I'm like, I'll watch some clips from City of Angels. I don't know why. And so, because I keep thinking, what would 1990s Rob never think he'd be able to do in VR? I'm like, let's go watch clips from The Crow.
Right.
And so I'm watching this clip where it's a scene where he's got Iggy Pop, who looks like a weird Klingon, and he's like trying to get him to like pick a card, you know, and he
Hmm.
makes him pick a card, and then like he threatens to light a match on him, and then he stops. No, first he threatens to light a match on him, then he does the card trick, and then he brings the match back out again. And it's like I don't know where they're going with that. You know, it is so weird. And the dude who plays the crow is just he's trying to make a scene happen. You know, Brandon, when they're trying to make a scene happen.
Yeah.
Megan Fox in the first Turtles movie, there's that scene where Whoopi Goldberg comes in out of nowhere. Who in the scene prior they were together, Whoopi Goldberg hates April O'Neil in that movie.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, she's helping her out, and it really felt like a coaching scene, like a legitimate actor studio coaching sequence.
Right.
It's so weird. It felt like that, like they're trying to make something happen. It just didn't work, dude. I would say, yeah, all time for me, The Crow City of Angels was a fantastic trailer. I walked out of that film. One of the few times in my life I said, nah, I walked out of Turtles as well. But I knew that was going to be shit. It's not like the trailer tricked me.
Right.
I just, you know, I was like, I got to give it a shot. I'll go in there, and I fucking walked out.
Maybe. See, I only got recent. I can only think of recent, like X-Men Apocalypse, things like that, where I'm just like,
Tron Legacy was the one that let me down. Look, Batman v Superman, yeah, you know, but Tron Legacy is the one where I'm like, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's dumb. This is a really dumb movie. You know, it's about computers and it's written by people who've never used computers
I know
or
my
played
biggest
video
letdown.
games. Hmm?
It came to me, my biggest letdown.
All right.
Uh, it would be the Wolverine movie. I'd say that one. The with the
Origins or the
no,
second?
no, 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 the second one. Sorry,
Okay,
the
we're
second
gonna
one.
wrap on this because this is a good thing you bring that up. So Wolverine X Men Origins, we all knew that was going to be a dumpster fire. You could
Oh
see
yeah,
that in the trailers, you know.
yes,
But we got excited because the director of 310 to Yuma was James Mangold. Mangold
yeah.
was going to direct the Wolverine, and it was going to have Silver Samurai, and he's going to go to
It was gonna be
Japan.
in Japan.
Yeah, um,
Arrows going through
they got
Wolverine.
ninjas in the trailer.
Ugh,
Couldn't wait, right?
I was so amped. I mean, I love the Frank Miller Wolverine Ronin storyline, all that. Wolverine in Japan just fits. He's an out of place person in that country, but he respects that culture. Everything about that, I love. Wolverine, samurais, I'm in. And yeah, the director, I was like, it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be gritty, it's gonna be great. And then I'm sitting there, and I went with Andy Bond. He's been on the cast many times, Elvatron on Instagram. And he's sitting there, and he's loving it. And we're at the end there, and Silver Samurai is an old man in a suit drilling into Wolverine's bone claws or some shit. And Andy's just sitting there, like, so happy, smiling. And I'm at this point, I've turned away from the screen, and I'm just staring at Andy, wanting to destroy his face with my eyeballs, because his enjoyment of such a shitty fucking movie, it hurt me to my core. I was like, I don't know if we could be friends after this. Like, I can't trust your taste in anything.
Yeah,
And
it's a
after the
bad
movie,
movie.
he's like, I loved it. I'm like, I hate you. Like, I was legitimately annoyed that I didn't want to go eat with him after. I was like, no, we're good. We're gonna go home. I'm good.
Tanked at the box office too. Didn't do
I was
too
so
well.
bad. So that would be my all-time letdown.
Right.
Missed opportunities and all.
And what was the very next film James Mangold made?
Logan.
So when people tell you, "Oh, this movie's gonna suck because this guy worked on this piece of shit film, he didn't like it," right?
Right.
Very next film, fucking Logan, maybe the
Love it.
greatest comic book movie of all time.
So good.
Yeah,
It's so
arguably
good.
the greatest comic book movie of all time. It's in the contention, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson to learn, folks. You know, let's just have a different take here at Sketchcraft. Let's just look at something, and if we don't like it, all right, let's talk about why we didn't like it. you know. But if we're gonna go down this fucking path of just shitting on folks because, you know, no one gets a chance, I just don't believe it. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't agree with it. Mostly, I'm just covering my own ass because I don't want people to. One day they're gonna be like, "That guy fucked up my Spyro game." You know, I'm like, "God damn it."
Yes.
You know, it's possible. You know, you can never control if a project's gonna go sour, man. You know, so whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so Brandon, we're gonna head out of here. It's about that time. I want to say thanks for coming on. I'm gonna hit the music. Anything else you want to add? Anything else?
I gotta go get a tire.
Let's go get a tire. All right. Thanks for coming in, Brandon.
Bye-bye.
And that's it. That's the show, folks. It's pretty good, right? I'm all out of coffee. It's a good time to end. It was fun. We talked about a lot of stuff. I don't remember what we talked about, and I know I rambled. Brandon,
Yes.
Brandon, you didn't mute your mic. You're not supposed to talk right now, Brandon. It's my time. We actually had a whole conversation, folks. He doesn't do shit until I tell him. That's the real lesson of this episode. I'm out of here, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Next time. Peace.